welcome to In the Corner. I am BenNny Mac. Joining me as always, or at least the last 3 episodes, is Mr. Tyler from across the pond. And, well, Tyler, first off, how are you? And second, there's quite a bit to talk about leading up to Elimination Chamber.
I'm doing fantastic, Benny, and there is a lot to discuss concerning the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event. And I am just so excited to join you once again for another episode of In the Corner WWE.
Uh, well, In the Corner with BenNny Mac, yeah. The WWE is just because I couldn't get the somebody else already had it, so WWE was just added on. But yeah, mate, it's right. I don't. Again, I always say I'm not going to do this, but I am going to because purely the amount of tech problems I've had just trying to get this together today has been absolutely insane. So hopefully we're over a lot earlier than advertised, obviously, but hopefully everything works and everything is hopefully sounding okay from my side and your side. So bear with us, people. But hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, we hope so.
But yeah, episode. Is it 91 or is it 92? Actually, I think I've labelled that wrong, Tyler. To be honest with you,
I did not catch on,
I didn't
so
either. To be
I
honest,
was
I'm going
not
to check
aware.
right now live because that is actually like, have I? Yeah, I have. So this is actually episode 92. But I can't
Who's
change it.
counting?
So, but who's count? Well, I was, but obviously I've lost count somewhere along the line. But there we go. I've changed it after the fact. It's fine. Um, just a rush of trying to get everything done. But yeah, I mean, SmackDown Raw chamber they're starting to fill out. We've got Randy Orton and Stratton already locked in for their respective men's and women's chamber match. Who is going to be taking on? Wow, we haven't actually got an answer for Liv yet on who she's going to choose
No, we
for.
haven't.
But it seems I'm going to go with it seems like she's going to be more than likely probably going against the women's world champion, whoever that might be. At the moment, obviously being Vaquer, but like it seems we know because we're having Roman versus Punk at Mania, so we know that whoever wins the men's chamber will be taking on potentially Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. But we've still got 4 slots to fill because LA Knight also
I believe we do. Yeah, LA Knight did advance, and also Rhea Ripley too. She won her qualifier on
oh, of
Raw.
course, yes, yeah, on Raw. So yeah, we've got Stratton and Rhea for the women's side. You are right. Sorry, that's because I was thinking SmackDown, and then but yeah,
Oh,
we've also
it's
yeah.
nothing to apologize for. There's a lot to try to recall, and I'm surprised I even remembered.
So I mean, if we had the time, I would say we could do a show every other day, if not every day, because then we'd have a lot more. We could focus on a lot more of the particular topics and stuff. But because we're only on once a week,
Sure.
trying to fit everything in is, especially when there's a pay per view on as well. It's or PLE, sorry. It's very difficult to actually keep everything in my head, to be honest. As on top of that, like I said a minute ago, with the added issues of tech issues as well. I don't need it, man. I don't need it. I'm gone. I'm done. No. But
You're
yeah,
doing
man.
a great job. I think people would concur. The great Benny Mac, and how dare I leave out Benny Mac's name, a part of his show? I see. I need to remember. Where's my medicine at?
I don't know, man. To be honest, like I said, with the tech issue, anyway. Enough about that. Let's do some SmackDown, man. What stood out for you on SmackDown, and then we'll move on to Raw, and then we'll probably do a little bit of thinking about Elimination Chamber. But let's face it, there's a lot more things to happen before Chamber on the 28th of February. So yeah, SmackDown, man. What was your takeaways?
Well, for SmackDown, one of the major takeaways has to be Cody Rhodes' promo. Actually, let's hit the rewind button because Drew McIntyre was entering through gorilla position. They were in Charlotte, North Carolina. Drew's always confident. I mean, if you look like him, I would be too. But
Right.
Drew McIntyre, just to add some humor to the show, but seriously, he comes out there, he emerges walking toward the ring. Before the ring announcer could get his full name out, the overall introduction, here comes Cody Rhodes. I mean, he is angry because of what Drew has done to him via the Royal Rumble. Cody
Yeah.
mentioned it. He was not even involved in the match. Things are going to change as long as Cody Rhodes is around. I believe Cody Rhodes sent McIntyre to the ring post and then sent him over the barricade. Of course, we had all the producers, agents, and referees trying to separate the two, and eventually they did. And Cody Rhodes just, he's always possesses this natural ability when he's delivering a promo. And it was no different here. He was talking about Charlotte, North Carolina, his roots going back to Dusty Rhodes. He was talking about not on my watch, Drew McIntyre. And as much as he respects Roman Reigns and CM Punk, he's heard about, this measuring stick contest for WrestleMania. Well, they better be glad he's not in it because they don't call him Raheem for nothing,
Yeah,
which we
yeah.
talked off air, Benny. I'm not sure about the Raheem reference, but it was funny. And I will say, Cody Rhodes is so passionate with his words. He's articulate. He's well spoken. He is the American Nightmare. You see why this gentleman is one of the faces for the WWE and all of professional wrestling. He is tremendous on the microphone, and it carried over with this intense issue between he and Drew McIntyre. It was unbelievable. He was spitting. It was showing. I mean, he was in a fit of rage if you're spitting. I mean, not only saying
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
so
Ori the
give me
Ori
your
the draw.
opinion on it.
Ori the draw quickly. Raheem, you're laughing at that what you just said as well, and Cody as well. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's hello Ori as well. It's been a while. Hope you're well. But yeah. Well, first off, attacking Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes is very much a heel thing to do. Let's face it, it's a very normally that's a Drew thing to do and stuff. But yeah, again the way they stitch these nights together now is very good because you have that happen. Um, I don't know if we're gonna have. I mean, it's not been announced yet, so we've still got people to qualify for the Elimination Chamber to face Drew, or I'm assuming we've not had any inkling yet of whether there's going to be a WWE Championship match at Elimination Chamber, which again could add a lot more different ways you could go with this. The general consensus is that the WWE Championship match, at least because Roman and Punk is locked in. Wow, unless something happens at Elimination with Finn Balor, but we'll get onto that in a bit later. But it seems to be very much the general consensus that the WWE Championship match isn't going to be a one-on-one. It might be a triple threat or a fatal, because of other like Jacob Fatu, for instance, being very much involved with Drew, believing that Drew was the person that took him out. Still, and we still haven't had any closure on that yet, or any inkling that other than that Jacob Fatu is. The promo was good though. It was a good way to open the show. It was, it's nice to, and then throughout the show, Drew trying to come out again to say what he wanted to say, and then having been attacked by Jacob as well. It was very good, to be fair. But to me, normally I would say that points to a WWE Championship match at Elimination Chamber, but we've had no real um say on that yet. So whether we find out more this week on SmackDown, whether we will have potentially we could have two chamber matches, and also in terms of men's and women's, but we could also be having two world title matches in theory. But they've kept away from that. I've noticed, one sort of might get put
Yeah, they
onto the
have.
next one, but it could, if Finn beats Punk, you know, could that lead to a triple threat with Finn? But I don't know. Finn. I was thinking about this earlier. Finn for me is a bit like Drew McIntyre in a sense of you felt for Drew because of COVID, and he won his first championship against Brock Lesnar, which is a big thing. But it was during the pandemic era where there was nobody in attendance, which sucks. So it's nice for him to have. I'd like to see him enter the WrestleMania with the title personally, just to have that. I know he's won the title back, but it'd be nice to have that WrestleMania moment for him. But on the same, I know. Excuse me. I know Finn didn't have the pandemic era to deal with, but he won the Universal Championship. He's the first ever Universal Champion, and then obviously in the match against Seth, got a shoulder. Can't talk today, mate. Shoulder
Oh,
injury,
you're fine.
and then literally had to give up the title. And then since then, all right, yeah, he went to NXT and was NXT champion again and stuff. But he's not had and he had some good title matches. But I feel like he's thing is, you can make a list of about 5 or 6 people, but like Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Drew McIntyre, definitely a top 3 for me. Like who are Finn and Sammy and Drew was overdue, but obviously he's got the title now. But Finn is one of those in the same conversation I think as Drew that hasn't really had his due. I think in a way, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
No, it makes a lot of sense because it goes back to his promo. Drew McIntyre talked about the COVID era, the pandemic, and about how the SmackDown roster should be more appreciative of having
Mm,
Drew be a representative for that brand because Drew McIntyre expects the best. I mean, we saw Trick Williams. It was a nice rub because the lemon peppers
the lemon pepper
steppers.
steppers,
I
yeah.
love it, and he's over. I mean, when his music hits, whoop that trick. And I didn't watch a lot of NXT, but I did see some of his matches. He's very impressive. He's as big as Drew, or I guess with those steppers he is. I mean, because Drew's
With the
also,
steppers, yeah.
yeah, with the stature, but they're close. And I love how Drew said, I'll stick them up there where the sun doesn't shine, meaning, hey, I'm
Yeah,
proud of you for showing some confidence, but I'm still Drew McIntyre. And the way Drew addressed Roman Reigns, too, and CM Punk said, Roman Reigns, you better be thankful you didn't have your Samoan army, or I would have whipped your tail. And
yep,
for you, Phil, not calling him just CM Punk, calling him by Phil Brooks, his real name. Uh, are you going to have a temper tantrum again? If you lose, are you going to walk out? I mean, I'm the best in the world. I'm the champion. So another dig at CM Punk. So I love how they're keeping it intense between not only Cody and Fatu, but also Drew McIntyre with his history with both CM Punk and Roman Reigns. I think they're doing a nice job. These promos resonated for me, BenNy, and this is why Raw and SmackDown, these episodes to me got better. Not that they haven't been good, but I feel like they're stepping it up with Elimination Chamber on the horizon and now the road to WrestleMania too, right after
yeah,
Rumble. So we're starting to see a build, but you're correct in the fact that we're seeing things done a little differently creatively, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. It's all what your preference is, actually. So
yeah.
you brought up some fascinating points with
If you're
your hypothesis there.
if you're a long term fan as well, to be to be excited or to be shocked by an event or something that happens, it is few and far between sometimes. But like, recently because you could sit here 5 years ago and go, yeah, that's gonna happen, and 9 times out of 10 you were right. Now I feel like, I mean, I'm not saying I mean, I got Liv right in the Royal Rumble, like who to win it, but I didn't get the men's right, so I was half right on that one. But like, the fact that I don't know or I can't quite predict what we've been conditioned to in the past, and now we're sort of they're throwing in these things of like, and it's even leading to some backstage, not backstage, but internet's talk about like, oh, Triple H hates this person, Triple H. You don't, no, based on Unreal, I would say he doesn't hate anybody. He just wants to put on the best show as possible. But I digress because there was something I wanted to bring back to you. Said about the promo with Drew. It was really good. I agree. I like the fact that he acknowledged, no pun intended, what Roman and CM Punk were saying. And actually, who do you think you are? I'm the WWE champion. This title is just as important, if not more important, than the World Heavyweight Championship at the moment because of the title, being. But something I wanted to pick, what I liked. Now we could be looking back at this by Survivor Series, going, "This was the start of it." But for a good couple of years now, they haven't just jumped in to Raw versus SmackDown, which they could have easily done for War Games and all this kind of stuff. They haven't done it, but we've had little moments with Adam Pearce and and Nick Aldis and other different wrestlers making little comments about, I'm a SmackDown person, you're a Raw person. Drew saying that, and I'm going to paraphrase a bit, but Drew saying, if you're a SmackDown superstar, you should be like it was almost like a call to arms from Drew in his promo, that you should
Yeah, it
be like
was.
upset that what they've said on Raw, they're basically calling SmackDown like the B show, and you should be like it's all, and it's only like, it was literally out of all that promo, it was probably like 30, well less, it was probably 5-6 seconds that he mentioned it. So, and there's been things said with the two general managers and stuff in the past as well. So I think we will have a Raw versus SmackDown at some point, but they're not just jumping to it for the sake of it. Because when they did it, like, I didn't really care. I mean, the biggest thing they did, I think, in recent history was the NXT invasion. Was probably the closest thing that I actually was interested in. Because Raw versus SmackDown, I'm like, yeah, whatever, because I'm not.
Well, because you saw that certain stars on each other's shows, so it lost the appeal of it. It's a separate entity. But and then when
Yeah,
NXT comes in with the tanks, it's like, oh, there's war coming. I mean,
yeah,
now
which
we
made it
see another
a lot
brand
more
coming in to
interesting.
invade the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Exactly.
So whether it is going to be a Raw versus SmackDown, I don't think it's going to happen in the next year. But maybe it could happen by Survivor Series. We've got a lot of time between now and Survivor Series, but it's just little nuggets of
Little hints. Yeah.
yeah that this could be now because again we're still having, like you just said, we're still having people like we've had Liv being on SmackDown because she's a Rumble winner, and then we've had the people going on different shows to do different matches and stuff, or just to be there. Um, so yeah, I don't know whether it will be anytime soon, but the fact that they're laying that little sprinkle of like, you should be offended, as a Raw superstar said this about SmackDown. Oh, okay, maybe we might have something down the line. It's a bigger story there, I think. But with the WCW WWF thing, because they were genuine companies apart, and then obviously it was all brought out by WWF WWE. It had more. I know a lot of people shit on in the Invasion era, but yes, it could have been better. It could have been probably a lot better. But what I saw of it, I actually really enjoyed. Yeah, all right, they had to pepper in some WWF guys and women to make the roster a bit more bulky on the other side. But story wise, I was invested right up until that Survivor Series match they had to determine who the winner was going to be. So as long as you tell a good story, is probably what I'm getting at there.
Yeah, I mean, the story is what gets you invested into anything. I mean, it could be a film, a TV show, and it can be wrestling as well. The Evasion less than stellar, but they could not get the big name WCW stars at the same
Of
time
course, yeah,
because they had those Turner contracts. So that played a lot into what they could do. I mean, speaking of WWE, so it's very fascinating when you look back at during that era of the invasion and when Vince bought out the competition, and they were so competitive, and thus the brand split. I think this is what inspired them to do the Raw versus SmackDown because you didn't have another viable company that was competing against them. So I miss when there's some rivalry between the brands, but I think it's definitely down the road because, like we're stating, with WrestleMania and Royal Rumble, you've got these stories that are going to intertwine and connect on both brands. So it'd be hard right now. But I did enjoy, to your point, what Drew McIntyre said. He's like, listen, you all ought to be ashamed because I'm the guy carrying the company essentially, but I'm also carrying this brand as a
yeah,
champion. As Drew McIntyre, I don't even need the title. But you're going to let all these people run roughshod over our show, whether it's from Raw, NXT, and especially SmackDown. I'm the Scottish Warrior. I'm the Scottish War Machine, Roman. You remember, I love how he reminded everybody, including Roman Reigns and
yeah.
CM
There's a
Punk,
lot of
that tattooed freak. He was getting personal, and that makes you believe in it. That's actually pro wrestling, sports entertainment. Who would have thunk it?
absolutely,
So
yeah,
I love
absolutely,
what they're doing, and people can say whatever about Triple H. I hear all the negativity. Listen, they're still the number one company in the world. Not a knock against AEW or anybody else, but they are. That's just the facts. I'm not always defending every decision they come up with, but Triple H has studied this stuff. He knows what he's doing. Even if creative does suck at times, guess what? It sucked under Vince. It sucked with WCW. It's everywhere. So get over it. I get tired of it too because I hear
yeah,
so many on podcasts go, "Oh, Triple H, he doesn't know what he's doing." This creative staff, they got more experience than we ever have. I don't care if you did run a wrestling promotion. We're talking about Triple H. The man overcame a lot. He
yeah,
almost died. Give the guy a break because he called you out because of what we're doing. We're having opinions. This guy knows what he's doing, and so does his producers. He's got a lot of people from other companies, from TNA, from WWE. So don't give me that pile of crap. I just get so tired of it. I'm going to get on my soapbox and start preaching. Not always coming to the defense of WWE or Triple H. And I know Unreal opened up a lot of doors, but Triple H is a cerebral assassin. He's also a mastermind. we're still discussing NXT right now. He's got Shawn Michaels running it. For a long time, we agree, BenNy. When SmackDown and Raw became unbearable to watch, which show was everybody talking about? And I
NXT.
know we'll get back to Raw and SmackDown, but that got
Yeah,
me
yeah.
really thinking about these things.
But NXT was run by Triple H, and as soon as I'm sorry, but as soon as Triple H was demoted or his health deteriorated or whatever the actual reason was, the health thing I think happened after. Maybe it was already on the radar, so he had to maybe step down. He was demoted or he was fired or whatever you want to. I don't know what the actual reason was, and I don't think any of us will unless Triple H has come out and said it publicly. I don't know, but when that show changed to NXT 2.0, now, all right, you need to rebuild it a little bit. That was always the case when somebody leaves or whatever. But the the NXT show in its inception from Arrival till about just before 2020, maybe the end of 2019 ish, was kind of the parody of the indie show to a degree, and it was bloody great to watch. From War Games to even way before War Games, Alistair Black's come through there. There's so many people that have gone. I know there were a few in there that we thought should have done better on the main roster. A good example is LA Knight. While Vince was still there, brought LA Knight from NXT up and changed his bloody name to some bloody model Maxine. Was it no? That's Maxine's name. Something Dupree, wasn't it, or whatever the frick his name was?
Yeah, so, something.
And
Yeah, where maximum male models it went nowhere.
there you go, there you go. Yeah, and it was when you're going, why are we watching LA Knight? What's going? And then thank God that Vince got shown the door. Because I tell you what, if he'd have carried on going, I mean, he might have made it work because LA Knight's a very creative guy. But you've spent all this time building a brand, and then you want to change into a male model. What I don't know, agency. I don't. Well, that didn't really work with the
Yeah,
bloody.
it was not resonating with people. At least for us and several others, I'm sure. I'm so thankful LA Knight was able to let loose and when and Triple H got in there. And this is not to even criticize Vince, but I think it shows you the difference in Vince's vision after a while. Sure, certain people that connected with Vince, I think that was the big difference, but there was a lot more that came up through that NXT system and through current WWE that were definitely finding more of a connection with Paul Levesque, with Triple H.
Yeah,
And to me, it helps. It assisted them because he was like, I know this is going to work. This is who you are. Where Vince was still, I think, stuck a little bit in the past, but I don't want to speak like I know how Vince thinks or how his creative is, and I don't want to just knock him.
I
But you've got a great opinion though, because with the example of the maximum male models, I mean, LA Knight, thank God he did get away from that because that reminds me of some you want to talk about bad creative with respect. That wasn't a Triple H call. So we may see shades of it now, but it's like it just goes to show you it's all a matter of
you
what you like, what
you have
wrestling
to
fans are going to tune
yeah.
into. Yeah.
Sorry, you have to try things. I get that, but when you've taken like when Vince started the company or when he took over and started taking people from other territories, the likelihood of everybody knowing who I don't know Macho Man Randy Savage was to begin with is very slim. But you've got NXT, which was on your network platform, which is part of your company. And then you go, oh, there's LA Knight. I'll have him, and now we'll call him Bob the Builder or whatever, or bloody whatever. But he's now LA Knight maybe a unique one because obviously he built his career up through like TNA and stuff like that as well. But wrestling fans, and now I don't know whether Vince had it in his head that not many wrestling of the casual fan watched NXT. But after a while, I think that may have been true to begin with. But after about a year or two, I think a lot of wrestling fans were watching more NXT. Yes, they were going to the live shows to see Raw and SmackDown. I get that, and more fun. Maybe not every single one of those people in that arena watched NXT, but I would say on average, 60% of the crowd watching NXT. Imagine if they brought Alistair Black up, and he was not Alistair Black anymore. He was like a motorcycle guy, and changed his name to Dave Motorcycle Man or some crap. I don't know. I'm just making shit up here because I just don't get it. Because there are like, I mean, LA Knight's going to evolve, and every wrestler. Look at Seth Rollins. From what Seth Rollins was when he came up from NXT with that black turtleneck on, then the Shield stuff on, And then the buy-in Seth Rollins, the sellout Seth Rollins, buy-in Seth Rollins, and losing the blonde hair streak. Now he's got it back. Now the clothes, obviously very influenced by his wife, I would assume, but very subtle changes. But he's had a fucking prolific career, and it's been amazing. But I don't understand when you had something like LA Knight who was, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And people were even booing him, like, and not, I don't think they were even booing him as this male model character. They were going, why are we not getting LA Knight? Why are we getting maximum male model, whatever bloody hell it was?
Well,
I don't get it.
here's the deal. I think Vince sometimes with his visions creatively wanted to go back to the golden era. And that's something that probably could have worked back in the 80s. But when you're trying to bring it to the contemporary audience and you're trying to rehash something that was from a long time ago, or at least it's been long enough, uh, you have to start deviating from and try, not that we need to understand where these creators are coming from, because to me that takes the fun away from it. We're being way too analytical, but maybe just to comprehend
Yeah,
it just a little. With LA Knight, it could have been like a great wrestler who made it work, like the model Rick Martel. Maybe he was going for something along those lines with LA Knight, but I'm not justifying the creative, but I'm trying to envision maybe what Vince, when he saw LA Knight or some of these NXT talents, because he didn't have a prior relationship, so he's trying to help with the relationships and say, "Oh, I got this idea," or I'm sure he met with a creative team and you probably got other people going, they want to disagree, but he's the boss. And LA Knights, hey, he made it work, but I'm so thankful he got out of it for his
yeah,
career. But and we'll get back to Raw and SmackDown, but we got into this conversation, and it's very fascinating. The differences between Triple H and Vince and the similarities at the same time.
yeah. I mean, they both did some great. They've done some great stuff since Triple H's been working. It's collaborative. It seems a bit more of a team effort based on Unreal and interviews I've watched with the talent, and you know, Triple H won't be like, no, we ain't doing that because it's my way or the highway. He's very much okay. Why should we do that? Does it make sense to do that? And they kind of flush out the idea. And we only see a snippet of this, obviously, in the documentaries and stuff. But um, again, WWE only show us what they want us to see. So but just one last thing on this, and we'll move on. But it's like, so Joe Hendry has made himself viral on the internet with his song and his entrance. In this day and age with social media, same with LA Knight and a few others. I mean, I get it. Like Hobbs coming over from AEW, changing his name. I get that because he's a different company. But when you're within the same umbrella, why would you try and, unless they've gone off TV for a while and they come back as his character? But he was doing well in NXT, so I don't get why LA Knight had to change. But imagine Joe Hendry, all this fanfare with the I believe in Joe Hendry stuff, and he came in and they called him like Chris Smith or something like that, and you're like, but he's made his name by pushing this brand, but you want to call him this. It doesn't make, especially with social media now. Again, back in the day, I know that I'm beating a dead horse here now, but so I apologize. But it's just, it didn't make. There are certain ones that have come up and changed that haven't made sense. It worked in NXT. You've promoted them up to the main roster because of the character and their persona and their brand. Because of that, so you want to bring them to the main roster. Great, but now we're going to change the way you look, the way you are, and everything that people liked about you, to then stick you out on Raw. But like, yeah, but we don't want this person. We want LA Knight. We want Joe Hendry. We want Aleister Black. We want. It just doesn't make any. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense. Now, if it's a random indie guy that internet fans know, I can understand WWE wanting to own the, like with their, what's Hobbs's Royce Keys.
Yeah, Royce Keys.
So I get that, but like, yeah, when it's under your own umbrella, and Tyler's been a wrestler. Tyler's been down in NXT. He's become NXT champion. He's got over. He's like the biggest babyface in NXT in history. Comes to Raw, and then they call him Raheem. Basically, what's
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
as far
Here's
as
Raheem. Hey, Cody. Thank you, Cody Rhodes. Now
I don't know.
it's gonna be
I
hard
just,
not to discuss.
yeah. I just don't. I've never understood it, And then it's like you've brought this person up because of the buzz, but again, maybe they were trying something and it didn't work, and that's fine. Thank goodness, like you said, that he moved back to
Well,
LA
yeah,
Knight.
trying something new and but once again, it didn't resonate. To your point, it didn't work because people, I think they underestimated the fans that watched NXT or at least followed them on the independent circuit. Maybe not everybody like the casual wrestling fan, but you're correct, Vinny. I mean, there's something to be said about just when it's organic, when you just know these stars and they're becoming big stars, but not that they were not on NXT, but especially when you get the platform on a Raw or SmackDown. But that's all I'll speak on it. But I think this is fascinating. This could be another like sidebar deal, as
Yeah,
part
I
of
don't
In
know
the
how we
Corner.
got. This is what I mean. I don't know how we got there really, but it's just it doesn't make any sense sometimes. And again, I'm not. I think Triple H's done a bloody excellent job in this whole team, but there have been moments where. But instead of giving up on storylines after 2 weeks, we even if it's not the best storyline in the world, we are getting a conclusion to it in some way, shape, or form. Whether that's they get moved to SmackDown, whether that's they beat them and that we're moving on now. I said earlier about sprinkling the possible rivalry between Raw and SmackDown. That's something that's been ever since Nick Aldis became SmackDown GM. When Adam Pearce was there, he basically told Adam Pearce, "You can go now. What are you doing? Well, I'm the SmackDown GM. You're the Raw GM. Goodbye. Get off my show." And they have both done that to each other, and then there's been little moments. So again, it could be something like I said. We might look back at episode 92, not 91, in about a year and a half's time and go, we're starting to see more and more. And I think we are getting sprinkles of it. I think we will get it. Whether it's this year, I don't know. But
And we
on
may
that,
be, and I'm with it. I'm all for it. Is what I'm trying to say. If we are,
I mean, how long have they teased Finn Balor, Demon Finn Balor now? We keep seeing that picture in the background and stuff like that. So how long before we get Finn? That's been like a good 3, 4, 5 months now. But we're seeing the picture of Demon Finn
yeah,
Balor.
we're seeing it build. Yeah,
Yeah,
the little hints backstage. I
got
think
the Island
we're
match as
key.
well with Punk. The Island match with Punk with his original music and the whole
Hmm.
babyface Finn, which I thought we were getting. They've done a complete whoop, and then we are not. But I found myself not disliking Finn because of what I spoke about earlier with the whole being Universal Champion and having to give it up. I want him to reclaim that throne at some point. Let's move on because we've waffled for nearly 30 minutes about LA Knight and everything, but
No, no, no. It's all good. I was just going to say I've enjoyed Finn Balor. He's sick and tired of taking it. And the speaking of backstage segments, if you paid attention to Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor's exchange, Dominic was worried about him. Liv and Raquel pointed it out first. I got ahead of myself, but he approaches Finn backstage and he's like, "Finn, what's going on? Everything will be all right because when JD McDonough comes back, y'all can win the tag titles." And that's when Finn's like, "No, Dominic,
go on now.
I'm paraphrasing. I'm not happy with that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm tired of being an afterthought." And then he carries it onto the promo and interrupts Michael Cole, who's supposed to have a scheduled interview with CM Punk, but we see Finn Balor appear. So I really enjoy how they're pushing Finn because he does deserve it. You're right. That first title win was a little less than because of his injury, because he had to relinquish the title. And whether he's a demon or not, and there was a nice little swerve because you said it. We thought he's turning back to the baby face. Now he's going to be a heel again, but who knows? They could switch it again. But going back to the match in Ireland, they had you because you really thought, well, Punk showed him respect, but because Liv, the following Raw, was telling him, listen, I hope you're not really trying to get influenced by CM Punk, what he was telling you and the sportsmanship, because you got to remember Judgment Day. So yeah, the storytelling's always essential. And I just wanted to add that because we were talking about Balor. So
Yeah.
uh,
No, that's fine. One last thing on SmackDown I want to quickly jump on, which I almost forgot to mention, was when we saw Sami Zayn walking backstage, looking very, very defeated, very like, where do I go now? Which is what I was worried about. And was it Ray Phoenix?
it was Ray
Yeah,
Phoenix.
and uh, Trick as well, Trick Williams, Lemon Pepper Steppers, we're going to call him. Say that 5 times fast. Um, but the fact that Sammy was there but didn't say a word. But something I watched it when I watched it back. He when Trick was like, "I'm going to take what I want," and I'm going to, I'm paraphrasing again, but I'm going to take what I want, and I'm going to be world champion and all that kind of stuff. And Ray's trying to make Sammy sort of like, "Don't worry about it. You'll bounce back. You'll bounce back." And you can he didn't even respond to Ray really. But when Trick Williams said about, "I'm going to take what I want and become world champion. I am the next," and I'm going to take what I want, I think was roughly the phrase. Sami Zayn, watch it back, is kind of like nodding, like,
Yeah, he's compliant. Yeah.
So, like, even though they're talking at each other and Sammy's just in the middle and doesn't utter a word, what Trick Williams was saying, you could see was starting to make sense to Sami Zayn. Maybe I've been too nice. Maybe I need to change the way I am. So, with Finn possibly moving to babyface in the next 3 months, 4 months, Sami Zayn, I think, might be going the other way, or at least a change in attitude's coming. Whether we see
I
it at
think
Mania or
I
post
think there needs
WrestleMania.
to be. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
no,
now
I agree.
Sammy lost the Drew. I think it's going to start. We need to see a bitter Sammy again because we've seen the great babyface Sammy, and as much as I've enjoyed the ride with him being this underdog, it's time for him to quit taking it. I mean, and as you were aforementioning, Benny, with Trick Williams really browbeating him backstage and Ray Phoenix taking up for his friend Sami Zayn. I think there's need for a gimmick change with Sami Zayn, to freshen it up, and I think it's going to build to that.
I
Hopefully,
think I think Raw and SmackDown this week have had a lot of um, seeds planted uh, for continuations of rivalries, for new ones, for alignment changes, heel baby faces. There's a lot. I mean, we're not even at WrestleMania yet. We still got Chamber to come, so it's going to be interesting what Mania is going to look like in Vegas this year again. Um, Chicago's going to be amazing, I think, for Chamber because it's Chicago, man. I mean, I'm a wrestling fan. I've never been to Chicago, but there are towns that you hear when they're going to be there. You know the crowd's going to be on it. And I hope Chicago, they've always delivered, but I hope they'll deliver again because the Chicago, especially with Punk being there anyway, and now defending the world title. So, should we? I think should we talk about Raw? We got it. We might as well. I think we've exhausted.
yeah, we might as well. I mean, because it's so much to try to dive into as far as a conversational piece regarding the podcast that we might as well transition into Raw.
um, the opening to Raw, as much as I'm a Becky Lynch fan and an AJ Lee fan, seeing Punk and AJ Lee walking down the corridor, amazing. Seeing Becky in behind going, "Oh my god, what the heck is she doing here?" and losing her temper. What didn't quite translate for me, so that was all good. But what didn't quite, Becky coming out starting the show in the ring, I get it. The promo didn't quite, for me, didn't hasn't sold me on as much as I mean. I'll still see it, and it'll be a good match. I believe. I'm sure it will be the Women's Intercontinental Championship. But when that promo sort of hit, this sort of like paddy that Becky Lynch was having didn't quite land with me at all. And there's one other occasion where Becky's promo hasn't quite landed with me is when she's like trying to be mad and she's breathing down the mic going, and it just. But for whatever, AJ Lee hasn't been around, I think, pretty much since WrestlePalooza, as far as I'm aware. Now, what would have made it for me? So basically, AJ Lee basically goads Becky into an Intercontinental Championship match, the women's IC title. Fine. Becky's like, but no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't have a title match. You've not been here. You don't. You're not even a full-time wrestler. You're not even signed with WWE. Blah blah blah. I was expecting AJ Lee to turn around after Becky said, "You're not even signed with WWE. You don't even really work here." For her to say, which would have made the crowd pop, I think, would have been nice for her to go, "Well, I've just signed a contract today. I am now going to be back." She doesn't have to be full time, but she could have at least just said, "I'm now an active member of the roster. So you will give me the Intercontinental Championship match, blah blah blah, whatever." But the opening to Raw, I don't know what it was, Tyler. Whether you can shed any light on it, what you thought of it, but I don't think all right, we got the message. Ultimately, it's going to be AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch, but I was kind of like, there was just something missing from it. I can't really tell you what it was, other than what I said about maybe just adding that line in saying I've signed a contract or something.
I felt like they were trying to be too comedic because
That's how it
it
came
wasn't
across.
personal.
I don't think it
Yeah,
was meant
because
to be, but that's
Becky's
how it came.
yeah being hysterical. You said it breathing in the mic. I realized they were going with something that varied from probably the original idea, but I I feel you. AJ Lee's always normally that's her role, but in this scenario, I know that's becoming a favorite word of mine all of a sudden, but these two women, uh, I want to see them get angry at each other. I want to, as you were saying, I want to feel like these two ladies are mad at each other. There's legitimate animosity between the two, and with Becky coming out there going, "Oh, hey, I just want to get rid of you." I can't really do an Irish accent and feminine Irish accent to say the least. So I don't know what the heck I was trying to do there. Speaking of comedy, maybe I should have watched out. But does Lee want to go one on one with greatness, and then Becky is having a nervous breakdown, or do you want a match? Just say I'm going to challenge you for your title. It's in Chicago. It's Elimination Chamber, and I'm also married to CM Punk. Punk and Rollins do not like each other. But the
Yeah,
issue's not between those two, it's between us. And Becky should have said, listen, you beat me in a tag team match. We're one on one. I am the greatest. I'm going to show you.
yeah,
They don't call me, Becky Lynch for nothing. They don't call me the Irish last kicker. I'm going back to her old gimmicks. All the names she could have thrown in there for an illustration. I mean, Becky Lynch just coming off getting hysterical, like she's a jealous cheerleader backstage when CM Punk and AJ Lee are walking by. I mean, seriously, it's a little bit hokey for me. That's where we get critical, folks. As much as I complimented Triple H, here we go. BenNny's got the T-shirt. I just turned heel. Well, guess what? I've just handed him the steel chair. There you go. But I mean, honestly, it was it felt flat. I mean, it was just I want to see these two ready to tear each other apart. If you really don't like each other, quit going on like you can have your conversations. You can be serious without getting physical. I understand that, but give
yeah,
me a little more. It just Becky's saying, "All right, I was teasing with the match, but now since we can have it now." I mean that part really didn't make a lot of sense. I mean, it was like you didn't want the match, now you want it, and then AJ Lee's like, "Well, I've not had a match in 10 years." I'm like, "Come on, let's get to the point and let
yeah.
me get interested in this match." She's the Intercontinental Champion. It's Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. She hadn't came back for 10 years. Let's go. Something is missing. I didn't mean
It
to get so emotional,
No,
but
it's
it
fine.
makes
No,
you, it
it's
drives you crazy.
but
It does. What's going on?
it didn't land at all with me either. So I mean, we got there. We're gonna have the match and stuff, and I'm sure the weeks building up to it, it will be fine. But because of, I think, yes, it's exciting to see AJ Lee back. What would have been better? I Again, I'm playing Booker here now, so I'm not a Booker by any stretch. But looking back at it in hindsight, why not have AJ Lee come out? I have an announcement. I am now an active member of the Raw roster. I signed my contract earlier this week or end of last week, and yeah, I'm now in a crowd would go mental. Becky comes out. What the heck are you doing here? Who do you think you are? Blah blah blah. I hate you. I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want you on my show, and I'm done with you. Becky goes to leave. AJ goes, well, you're not done with me, Becky, because Adam Pearce has made it official. I will be challenging you for the Intercontinental Championship at Elimination Chamber. Done. Now
I
the
like
history
it.
is already there, but it doesn't. I think sometimes it's
Right.
overcomplicated. In this case, it was very complicated. You knew where it was going, but it just
The way it
the
started and then the way
it just didn't
in the
land.
middle and the end. Yeah, it was just,
Yeah,
it was like, where are we going with this? I mean, it's like,
yeah,
then AJ Lee's just giggling and this banter and saying, well, I've not had a match in 10 years. That doesn't sound like the type of baby face that's going to back down from the hill. It's like, okay, you need to be confident. Go, listen, I've not had a match in 10 years, but I've been a part of this company a lot longer than you have. Once upon a time, and I've been hearing you talking all this smack. You want to come into this ring and try to belittle me and act like I know that I'm a problem for you. I can tell by your reaction, the way you're
Yeah.
communicating with me. So to your point, yeah, as Becky leaves, have Adam Pearce involved. I mean, it's good when the general managers make it official. When it's not too much. I mean, I'm just agreeing with you. It's lackluster, I guess is another word. It's just
Again, I think
they
it'll
want
be.
to buy into this match for Elimination Chamber. It's in Chicago for crying out
Yeah.
loud, and they've got time. And then I may be coming on here next week and going and praising it. I mean, I don't,
Yeah. In terms of how it goes from here, hopefully it'll go up because it was flat. I'll leave it at that, to be honest. And I want it to be good, but it was a bit like, okay, well, we're having that then. And again, I don't think the match
and
will be
it's
bad,
this the
but
way we want to start Raw. I mean, I understand it, but we should have made it. There should have been more animosity between the two. I mean, they're just out here laughing, doing this
yeah,
routine. I felt like.
you could even, because of how it panned out, because Maxine Dupree was going against Natty, which is a great change for Natalia. It's a great change for her. This is going to take a. Hopefully, it'll work, and I think it's going to be a bit of a build, obviously, for her. But they could have even could have even done AJ just coming out saying, "I've signed the contract. I'm now on Raw, and I'm here. I'm going to be here tonight to see how Maxine does against Natty, and then thank you very much, goodbye." And then, obviously, what happened in the Natty match, AJ comes out to support Maxine. Becky could then just um, uh, attack AJ, and then Adam Pearce could either go, "Well, you just signed your own death warrant, and you are now defending the title against AJ at Elimination Chamber," or they could even worked in that part of the deal to get AJ on Raw was to give her a title match against Becky. So there's a few other ways it could have just been. I just don't. Maybe it was meant to be better than what it was. Maybe the ladies didn't quite. It just didn't like.
Into it.
Yeah, yeah. We got Ori in the chat. AJ was totally goading her, which is what she actually wanted to say. AJ has been crazy. She recognizes it. She's feeling Becky's crazy. Yeah, 100%. I got
Yeah, it could be.
it. I got that completely. AJ's living rent free in Bex's mind. Yeah, again, 100%. It just didn't quite hit the
Resonate.
mark.
Yeah.
It just didn't quite hit the mark for me. Anyway.
I was gonna add this too, real brief, with
Yep.
the Natty and Maxine Dupree segment where she applies the sharpshooter on the broadcast table. To me, I didn't mind it, and I liked the body shots, but I'm like that that to me the whole other segment felt flat too because I now Becky sneaking up on AJ Lee to get her to hit the ring post head first. I don't mind that as much, but in this talking trash to her, but at the same time, it's just like, well, I don't know. I guess I was just maybe I was overthinking because I just did not. I like Natty, but I'm ready for her to move on from Maxine Dupree. It's not a knock against Maxine, but I just
No, you want to
I'm
see
like
what's
she
next with
she
it.
needs another program. I mean,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I know they're probably leading into it. There's just a lot of moving parts. I would just of course, it's easy for me to say, but I'm going to say it. I would have preferred
If
it to
you,
be. Go ahead.
I was just going to say maybe with this other stuff because we're heading to Mania and stuff. So not only are we building to Mania with the current stuff that's going on with all these moving parts, superstars and stuff, we've also got to start laying some groundwork for past Mania. So we've got something after WrestleMania. I mean, I'd have liked it if Natty had come in and just literally punched Maxine in the nose, and I know that's a bit
And then went
aggressive, but
after Becky if she needed to.
just be aggressive, be like a Shayna
Yeah.
Baszler, be like a
Yeah.
Shayna Baszler,
Well, yeah, like Baszler. Maybe not go after Becky because they're both heels. That's true. That would
Yeah.
probably not work.
But in terms
Now
of
that I
Maxine,
think
I mean,
about it.
I think it would have been
Yeah,
just more
hit
of just a
Maxine
beat
though.
down.
Yeah.
Give Maxine maybe 2 moves and let Natty literally just destroy Maxine, which then could actually let Maxine go away and train harder and come back, and then we've got a separate program 6 months down the line. Yeah, you beat me last time, Natty, but I've been training and I'm ready for you this time. And it could be even more competitive match. But it did again. I think you're right. It was
Just
again
felt like
something else.
another
Yeah,
match.
something missing. I mean, it ended up being a count out, not no disqualification. A count out with the. But again, it pushed forward AJ and Bex as well. So yes, the opening wasn't good, but it gave us a little bit more of that to
And
get
it
our
did accomplish something though.
Yes, absolutely. Ori, I want to say thank you for sticking with us as well. We've been waffling for
Yeah,
nearly
thank
an
you
hour
so
now, so
much.
thank you
Yeah.
very much for your comments as well. Appreciate it. We're also doing really well on the YouTube channel. In the corner WWE, we're on there, Ori. We are looking for subscribers. We've got 8 at the moment. We're doing all right, to be fair. But the views we've got on our shorts, Tyler, have been really good, and the comments and the likes have been really good. And for a channel that's only been going for maybe 3 weeks, it's a good start for us. So hopefully a few more
It's
things.
been a great start. Yeah, I want to thank BenNny and his channel, and thank all of you for tuning in and getting to hear
Yeah,
these perspectives. We
the
appreciate it.
the audio version is still available on podcasts, Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and on at SJP World Media as well. So give that a follow. So the audio, we're live obviously now, but the audio version goes out onto to the podcasting networks as well. So yeah, but yeah, thanks you everybody for basically watching and listening, I guess, to us waffle about wrestling for an hour every Wednesday, pretty much. We've got to talk about Javon Evans and
We got to.
that match they had with the original El Grande, which I wasn't sure if it's still Chad Gable or not. I'm still not sure whether it is. But when he did the Gracias, I'm pretty sure it's Chad Gable. So I'm happy with that. He's just grown
It's
himself a
giving it
beard.
away. Yeah. Some of
Yeah.
the expressions by via his hands.
Are we gonna have a match at Mania between the Grandes to like have a stake of who is the original Americano? I don't know,
Well,
but
I think that's possible, though. You can't always buy into the rumors, but it may be where they're going is having the El Grande Americanos facing each other, which we believe is Kaiser. That's why we haven't
yes,
seen him.
yeah,
He's been
yeah,
under a mask,
yeah.
but let's discuss it. That was speaking of a highlight. I mean, my
That
goodness
cut
gracious. Yeah.
that so yeah. In terms of the Grande storyline, me and you said back when it first started, we had a bit of a hiatus with the podcast, obviously, so it's been a while since we've actually spoke about it, but we did. Both of us were kind of excited by it, and kind of it's got the comedic value of it, of course, but it's also got legs. And I thought when Chad got hurt, oh god, we're going to lose our Grande. He can catch a break, and then all of a sudden, this taller, slimmer El Grande come out of the woodwork, and it turns out to be Kaiser, as far as we're aware. And I was like, okay, cool. And now we're starting to get the payoff now with the original El Grande
Yeah.
Americano coming out,
I
and
mean, everybody's seeing it.
it's absolutely absolutely amazing. Ori Javon gives me early Kofi vibes, cranked up to 20, and I'm loving him. He's only like 21, 22, something like that.
He's
Javon
very
Evans
young.
is
I mean,
is
I'm feeling bouncy, Benny. I don't know about you, but I'm
is
bouncy. I
bounty. Oh,
mean,
mate.
yeah, I love it.
Right. So a while back, Cody and Carmelo Hayes had a match on SmackDown when Carmelo first came up, and I think because Cody does the second rope cutter, doesn't he normally, where he jumps off the second rope, hits the
Yeah, he
cutter.
does wear the
Uh,
second robe.
yeah, I think they were trying to do that on a SmackDown episode, and they got the timing wrong completely, and Cody ended up landing on his back, and it didn't. I mean, the match went on, and we've moved past it, and Carmelo Hayes is doing well and stuff, US champion, and Cody's obviously gone on to do well as well. But the timing to get Bravo, was it Bravo he hit with that?
What I believe it was Bravo, the one
Yeah,
that wears the blue mask.
that's it. The way Rio is red, Bravo is blue. That's how you remember it, basically. Apparently,
Okay, Corey
so
Graves. Thank you.
yes, yeah, that's what Corey Graves said.
Tells Michael Cole is what I'm trying to get my words out to remind him who they are, because of course he's more familiar with them because they wrestle in AAA. So I think Corey Graves does
Yes.
color commentary there. So he's got the history.
Yeah, I've not watched too much of AAA, to be fair. I watched the one of the big events about 3, 4, 5 months ago, and it
I
was
did too. I
I
think it was
enjoyed it.
the same one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but yeah, for Javon Evans to hit that cutter from there, um,
I mean, just think of the
amazing.
timing it took. Yeah, for those two guys to, and for him to hit it, and the aerial views, the camera angles were amazing. The way they caught, even the
Yes,
pictures
yeah, I think it
afterwards.
was a
I mean,
drone
just
shot, wasn't it? Yeah,
yes, it was great.
it was.
And
I
then he
just
flies, in the heavens. I'm paraphrasing the comments Corey Graves, speaking of Graves, makes when he takes out the guy in the red mask. Who's the guy again? Because I'm not as familiar with the other Americanos, so I know Bravos in
yeah,
blue.
yeah, Rio and Bravo, and then
Okay,
obviously
Rio
you
was
know,
the
yeah,
guy
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
Evans took out. Okay.
But it was just, oh my god, I think I rewound it. I was like, oh, how the heck has he done this? And then they showed a slow mo of it after, and it was like, dude. Now, amazing, yes. Try to do that again and again and again could be problematic.
It'd be tough.
I,
Yeah.
I hope not, but that I mean, Brandy Orton's backstage going, "Dude's just killed my
Yeah,
old
he's probably
RKO. I
like,
know how to
hey,
give it." Like,
right. He's like, man, I've done this a lot. Now you've got this kid coming up doing
not only he could
the
jump off the
OG
top
cutter.
rope,
Yeah.
I'd jump off the top rope and catch somebody mid S. I mean, we had the Logan Paul Ricochet moment at the Rumble a few years ago where they both jumped up and smashed into each other, which was like,
Correct.
again, big future
I
for
mean,
Javon
how do you
Evans.
top it? I mean, he
Absolutely,
felt
how
it,
do you?
but I mean, you
It's
ask the question. I mean, how does it get any more climatic or better in the way the athleticism and just the way the timing and
go
they
for the
made it
table next time. I don't know.
sync up and be cohesive. Yeah, I mean, it
It
could
was
be.
amazing.
Hey,
I
we
mean,
got
we're
a
talking.
hardcore match. Javon Evans, do something to the table.
They need to bring the hardcore battle back. I think for Joanna and stuff like that would be amazing. But also, obviously, Bravo that took it. I think it was Bravo that took it. But for him to do, for them to, just for both of them to get that right and live on TV is insane. I wonder how many times they practiced it. I mean, I remember watching an interview with Randy and Seth trying to do the Mania 31 where Seth went for the curb stomping, flipped up into the air, and he caught him into the RKO. Apparently, they tried it through the day, couldn't hit it, and then they still tried to do it in front of the crowd, and they did it in front of the crowd. So, it's just, I mean, Javon Evans, beg your pardon, is going to have a massive year. I think. Hopefully, he stays injury free. He had a bit of a close call not long ago, but luckily okay. So, but yeah, what a moment that will be when they do a. I don't know where we are with Raw now, like 40 years of Raw, whatever it will be next, which will be next, 35 years of Raw, whatever the next anniversary is. That is going to be a highlight moment, isn't it? Amongst all these other ones that
It's
happen
got to
on Raw.
be. I mean, it's going to be one of those moments that's played and played. It goes back to the Shelton Benjamin where Shawn Michaels catches him with sweet chin music. When
Oh
Shelton had to
yes,
time it, you know, it
yeah,
was
yeah.
it was remarkable. It makes me think of some of those viral moments. I mean, because Javon Evans, him and Bravo to, yeah, the teamwork. I mean, because it takes two to tango, and
It
you know,
was it
this,
was great.
yeah, the original, El Grande Americano taking on the imposter, uh, Kaiser, and then we believe it is Chad Gable. Just the hand gestures that you were mentioning and the German suplexes, those tosses. I mean, to me, that's reminiscent and resembling Gable and his body type too. Gable was always in great shape.
Yeah,
Just not as tall as the new, and I'm one to talk because I'm not very tall myself, but so it's going to be intriguing. I mean, it's really a comedy routine, but both those guys are great wrestlers, though. I mean, so they can make it work.
it's going to be interesting going forward what Javon Evans does, but obviously with the Grande Americano stuff, is really good. Um, the one, I mean, I don't know whether you've got anything else you want to bring up. The other thing I want to bring up quickly, obviously, was the triple threat match for in the men's side to see who was going to go to Chamber, and Austin Theory getting attacked by a masked, hooded person. Now, when that happened at the Rumble, I thought that's Austin Theory. Then there was talks of Logan Paul, and there's been talks of Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory were all in that arena, visible to the crowd and to us watching at home. So who the heck was under the hood this week? Now, for some strange reason, I think it was the way he moved. I mean, a lot of people would say, "Oh, it's Seth Rollins, it's Seth Rollins." It might very well be, but part of the movement was also I thought, well, what if it's Grayson Waller? Because there's a
I've heard it.
history,
Yeah,
you
maybe
know.
it
So,
is Waller.
but I have no idea who it was. I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that quickly before we.
I'm not sure either. I think it's been entertaining because we don't know. I mean, it could be any of these people. It could be Logan Paul. It could be Adam Pearce under mask with his issues with the vision. It could be Austin Theory. I mean, it's probably going to be Seth Rollins. But what if they're just making us think this, which seems obvious that it is Seth, but they're putting these different people in place. Maybe I think credit to you, BenNy. You said this that it maybe Seth Rollins has a henchman. Maybe Grayson Waller could be that person. It's just when Rollins can't be there. I mean, I don't know.
It could
It's
be.
been
It could.
entertaining.
We know it was Theory initially because he's joined the Vision, but is Theory a mole, which we've already spoke about? Um, is this even the same person? How has Seth amassed himself a little army for when he comes back for the Vision? Um, I mean, I can't take away from the fact I'm so glad that LA Knight's qualified
Yeah,
for
it's possible.
the Elimination Chamber as well. So LA Knight's through to the Elimination Chambers. We've already kind of spoke about at the top of the show here. Um, but obviously, one of the bigger news we haven't discussed very quickly before we go off air is Braun Breaker's injury, which apparently did happen last week on Raw when he flipped the table. They're citing a workout accident, but
Yeah,
either
workout
way,
accident, but I think the table may have done it. I don't
by
know for
by
sure.
we none of us know for sure, but that's the general sort of like thing. But yeah, is now I've got to ask the question very quickly because we've had injuries with Seth before, who then cashed in Money in the Bank. Is this just a? Is there a minor injury here they want to heal, and instead of having him on TV, we can now? Is it as serious as they're making out? We never know with WWE. You know, you know, there's moments throughout history where we think somebody's going to be out for a year and they come back 6 months later, 3 months later, whatever. So if it's a genuine injury, which it seems to be, hopefully he'll get better soon because unfortunately the Vision is starting to drop like flies. Obviously Seth has been kicked out. We've got new
Yeah,
members.
they are.
So hopefully it's not. Hopefully he'll be back soon. There's a lot of stuff going on here. This masked henchman is the biggest. Like, who is it? I
Yeah,
think we're
it's a
probably both.
mystery.
I think we're both agreeing that it's probably something to do with Seth. So I think we're both
I
on agree
I
on that.
would believe so, just because of the implications, the history with them betraying Seth and taking him out. Somebody brought this up. It's a lot like when Edge was over Judgment Day, and they took him out. He wasn't a part of the group anymore. So credit to whoever had that hypothesis as well,
Yeah,
because I can't take credit for it. I heard somebody say it, and it's true though. I mean, it's reminiscent of some of those groups. But I just wanted to touch on a few things real quick, BenNy, is the CM Punk, when he did get a chance to speak with Michael Cole. I found this fascinating. Michael Cole kind of blurred the lines a little bit here, and I like when WWE does this. He said, "Why would you jeopardize one of the greatest main events in WrestleMania history?" Referring to CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And I love Punk's response. He stared at him like, "Wow, I was not expecting that," or maybe he was. That type of
yeah,
questioning for Michael Cole. But I'm not jeopardizing. I'm trying to chase greatness. I'm a fighting champion. In other words, I'm not going to go through it verbatim. But CM Punk has got so much conviction. There's been so many great promos between SmackDown and Raw. This was just once again great material. And he was telling Roman he did hate him, but I believe Roman does hate what I'm building in WWE. So I love the little tidbits again. And also back to the henchman. I love Paul Heyman and the Vision confronting Adam Pearce backstage. And then Adam Pearce gets up. Paul Heyman's like, you're savvy. You're not like a lot of the other GMs that have been around before. We underestimated you in being a threat. And
yeah,
then we hear Pierce saying, "Listen, standing up to him, I am the Raw general manager. I didn't want Braun Breaker out. They were trying to put it on him like it was a corporate liability." And then he told Heyman and the Vision, he's like, or at least the Vision, "You better not get involved. This Elimination Chamber qualifying match is important." And what do? They get involved, but the henchman evens up the odds, and of course I'm like you. I'm glad LA Knight won and defeated Theory to
yeah,
essentially both guys, but that's who he pinned to
yeah.
win the match.
No, I'm glad LA Knight's through. And I'm again, we'll find out a lot more on SmackDown. We've Elimination Chambers on the 28th, so we've got a bit of time before we get there. Right, I have run out of time, so we're gonna have to end it there, mate. But it's been an absolutely great time as per usual talking to you about some wrestling. People in the
Oh, it
chat here,
has.
Ori as well. Thank you very much for sending the comments in
Yeah,
as well.
thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Um, but yeah, I know you've got some stuff coming out. If you wanna quickly tell us about what you're up to, other than this, obviously.
Yes. I've just got DDP Productions right now. There's you can listen to all the newest episodes as well as the past editions on DDP Productions is on X. It's also on Instagram. I've got a Facebook page called Tyler's Take. It's a hybrid of my older podcast with DDP Productions. I know I'm going to sound redundant, but yeah, just catch up on a lot of those episodes. And for the time being, at least the way the scheduling is working out, I'm joining the great Benny Mac and being a part of this wonderful show. And I know he'll tell you more about that.
Mate, it's been awesome. I do have to shoot, unfortunately, but thank you everybody for watching. Look out for the audio version of this show on at SJP World Media and on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So just search In the Corner WWE, you'll find us. And yeah, the YouTube channel at In the Corner WWE on YouTube as well. If you want to swing, but there's going to be some stuff coming soon with that, with some of the new wrestling games coming out. So I thought I might do a bit of the gaming stuff, but it's all going to be like wrestling related content on In the Corner WWE. So whether it's looking back at old games, old matches, we've already talked about possibly doing some bonus episodes of some old pay-per-views or old matches. So any ideas you have for that for us, let us know. That would be awesome. Tyler, it's been awesome to talk to you, and we'll catch you all again next Wednesday. See you again.
See ya.
To see if I succeed, to see if I believe they're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me.